Hello and welcome to Cereal at Midnight. I'm Heath and I am excited because one of my favorite movies of all time has just arrived on 4K. The Lost Boys is on 4K Ultra HD. This just showed up in my mailbox. I stopped what I was doing, watched the entire movie, went through the special features with a fine-tooth comb. I wanted to compare and see if everything that was on the older edition has been carried over to the new 4K Blu-ray combo pack. More on that in just a second, but I've got great news for 4K fans. First, I want to thank everyone who supports Cereal at Midnight. If you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. It's good for the channel. It helps us to get noticed on YouTube. It gets us in the YouTube algorithm. You can show your support by subscribing to this channel, liking these videos. Special thanks to our Patreon supporters. They've unlocked over 130 exclusive episodes, live streams, collection tours, all kinds of stuff. It's in the Patreon archives. But any way you can support this channel, we appreciate it. The Lost Boys looks fantastic on 4K. You know, I never thought this movie could look that good. It's always been kind of a darker, grittier, softer movie. And the step up from VHS to DVD was pretty good, but then the DVD to Blu-ray, I was like, yeah, it's good. How good can it look on 4K? Well, I gotta tell you guys, the movie opens with, kind of going over the water in the dark, and it's optical, credits and stuff. And I was like, okay. We finally get to the boardwalk, the Santa Clara boardwalk, and there is Kiefer Sutherland and the Lost Boys on the merry-go-round, and that's the first real shot of the 4K transfer doing its thing. And I got goosebumps. I sincerely got goosebumps because I never imagined it could look this good. And it just gets better from there. I've got even better news for you guys because the it's a 4K and a Blu-ray and digital as well. It's not the same Blu-ray as the one before. This is a brand new Blu-ray. It's been completely reauthored and it has a new transfer. The 4K transfer, here's the digital code. The 4K transfer from the new edition has been put on Blu-ray. So now just to be clear, if you watch this on Blu-ray, you're not watching it in 4K, but it is the latest remaster compressed onto a Blu-ray disc. The 4K is the native, that's the full, the full 4K presentation. Sometimes people ask that. They're like, well, if I've got a 4K transfer on a Blu-ray, am I watching it in 4K? No, but it does look better. It's going to look a lot better than the old Blu-ray. I actually did this side by side. I popped them in back to back, and I was blown away by how much the saturation level, the clarity. I mean, it really is night and day. This movie's always been red. It's a red and black movie, right? It's dealing primarily red for blood, black for the night, all that stuff. The visual language of the Lost Boys has always been very, like the last act of the film is just red. It's just lit with red. And all that comes through so well in this movie, the saturation of that red. There are going to be people who say they're going to see the transfer and say that it's too dark. I don't think it is. I think it's just dark enough. We have to remember that Blu-rays are color timed differently than 4Ks. 4Ks are specifically color timed for a 4K setup. The ideal conditions to watch these movies, you watch them with the lights off. Don't watch them in a well-lit room. For me, I think it's appropriately dark, and especially like the scenes you want to be really dark, the cave stuff, even the bridge scene, like it just looks so good. And just faces coming. The feeding scene. No spoilers if you haven't seen the movie. What are you doing? You got to go watch this movie. But the feeding scene, like just faces coming out of the blackness. So good, so good. The extras. I want to talk about the special features because I was really concerned that. First of all, Warner Brothers has been doing this new thing with 4Ks. They've been experimenting with leaving off a special features disc. So you only get the movie on 4K, which means you have to keep previous editions. That's not great. So the last couple that they've done, they have been including special features. So this has the Blu-ray. So the 4K disc itself has the Joel Schumacher commentary. And then the Blu-ray disc has the movie and all the special features. What do you guys think about this? I was just talking about this to somebody earlier, and they were asking what I thought about this because I like having the movie only, movie and an audio commentary, the movie and audio tracks only on the 4K because I know that movie has maximum capacity to breathe. I'm not worried about compression. Now, it depends on what disc they're using. If it's a 100 gigabyte disc or whatever, that can change the conversation. But I always know if it's just the movie and an audio track that they've got the file as big as it can be. No compression. If it's a 70 gigabyte file or whatever, then I have to worry about it. But with Blu-rays, put the features on the Blu-rays, and that's where I can go check them out. What do you guys think? Do you have an opinion about this? This is a good time to weigh in on that. But everything has been carried over from the previous edition except a photo gallery. I can't find the old photo gallery, and I don't really miss it. It's not enough for me to hold on to the old Blu-ray for a photo gallery, but I can't find it. Maybe it's hidden inside something else, but I went over these features pretty well. We've got the commentary by Schumacher on both discs, and then on the Blu-ray, the additional deleted scenes, about 15 minutes of deleted scenes, 24-minute retrospective documentary about the Lost Boys, which is fantastic. It was made a while back, too, right? It's not new. It's over a decade or so, I guess. And it was in a time when they were actually talking about movies and how this stuff was made. Now they don't want to tell the story. You got to control the information. But it's a lot of stuff here. What's cool about these special features is that there are people here, Joel Schumacher, Corey Haim. They're not here anymore. They're gone. They've left us. But we get to hear we get to hear about their involvement with these movies. So the return of Sam and the Frog Brothers, the two Coreys, it's a multi-angle video commentary that's carried over. Vamping Out, the undead creations of Greg Cannon. Inside the Vampire's Cave, there's 4 featurettes. They're like 5 minutes apiece, but they're here. Hamster and Felldog, the story of the two Coreys, that's been carried over as well. I was honestly surprised to see that carried over. Lost in the Shadows music video by Lou Gramm. I was surprised by that too, because music videos are usually the first thing to go because of music license issues. A World of Vampires interactive map, that's here. It's like, vampires around the world, and you just click. It's fun. Theatrical trailer is here, but again, I can't find the photo gallery. So, highest recommendation for The Lost Boys if you love this movie. I should talk a little bit about the movie. I'm of the generation that kind of grew up with this movie. It's 1987. This was on television all the time. I think this is like a Gen X horror comedy classic. Older millennial era too. I don't want to exclude anybody, but if you grew up in the 80s and in the 90s, you probably have immense affection for The Lost Boys. It will come on Saturdays. We had a local show when I was growing up. It's called The Breakfast Club, but it was like 11 to 1, and they would show The Lost Boys mini Saturday. It felt like it was on a lot. I always loved it, and I always watched it when I could. Kiefer Sutherland, super cool. He's always going to be this character for me, and his character in Stand By Me, too. It's like Jack Bauer, all that stuff. Like, that's great, but for me, he's this character. The imagery, the rock and roll music, the Echo and the Bunnymen cover of People Are Strange, covering the Doors. The Jim Morrison iconography. This is an amazing rock and roll movie, filtered through a lens of 80s culture, but still timeless and pretty amazing. I love it. I have nothing but adoration for The Lost Boys. I want to know what you think about it. The Lost Boys on 4K is not only a safe bet, it comes highly recommended. If you're still rocking the old Blu-ray, you got to upgrade because you get a brand new transfer, night and day difference. It's like gauze has been taken off of the movie. Years have been removed. It's brighter. It's just better in every way. The Lost Boys back. They're back, baby. The Lost Boys is here again on 4K. I'm going to link to it in the description of this video if you want to pick this up. You'll be supporting Cereal at Midnight and getting something cool at the same time. Any way you can support Cereal at Midnight, I would really appreciate it. Again, if it's subscribing, if it's Patreon support, if it's just using our links, anything that you can do is noticed and appreciated. Guys, thanks so much. Take care. Until next time, I will catch you later.